everybody, and welcome to Never Seen It. This is a podcast about movies that we haven't seen yet. I'm your host today. My name is Betsy, and with me is Trent.
Hello, Betsy.
So normally this time of year, we would be watching Christmas movies, but we found ourselves in a spot where we've kind of Christmased ourselves out. So instead, we are catching up on a lot of movies from 2024 that we just didn't make a priority right away when they came out, and instead are spending December watching those films.
And we're getting a head start on some possible Oscar contenders.
That's the dream anyway. That's the hope. We've been paying attention to what's getting buzz. We're going to be getting some awards coming out with nominations in the coming days and weeks. So right after this episode comes out are the Golden Globe nominations. So we're hoping that by the time this episode comes out, it will be nominated for many awards because today we are watching Anora. And Trent, this is one that up until recently, you kind of didn't know what this was because I certainly pay a lot more attention to the trades, as it were, and a lot of podcasters and what's the buzz, what are people talking about? And for the last several weeks in particular, but certainly the last few months, this movie has been picking up some steam.
Yeah, we were kind of looking at some publications lists of movies that have come out this year that are of different tiers. Like these are the ones where we think absolutely it's going to get a whole lot of nominations, or it's a shoo-in for at least a best, actress nomination or whatever it happens to be. And we're trying to pick out the ones that show up on every single one of these lists. And Anora is one that has basically been on the top of everybody's list.
So that being said, Trent, what do you know about Anora?
So at the beginning of this entire endeavor, I didn't really know anything about it because a person's name could be, hey, this is based on a real person. It could be a biopic or something like that. I don't think it is. I did watch a trailer for this a couple of weeks ago, and it seems like this is a young woman played by, her name is Mikey Madison, who was a gal who was in that Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There was a whole bunch of other very up-and-coming actresses and actors in that movie.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing you've probably seen her in.
Definitely. But she's the star here, and I do believe she is some kind of a sex worker, stripper type person. I don't really know.
She is an entertainer in that industry.
In the adult arts. And she meets and marries some Russian rich guy.
Yes, I believe he is the son of a Russian oligarch.
All right, then. But as far as how we get there, how we go from her humble beginnings all the way up to whatever the fuck she becomes, this is going to be, my understanding anyway, from what I've read, this is going to be kind of a very modern and very adult Cinderella story.
It's Pretty Woman for the 2024 generation.
Maybe.
Kind of.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, I feel like more movies and more media needs to be honest about the world in which we live. There are how many hundreds and thousands, and probably a lot more than that, of people, women in particular, who are using their bodies in order to make a living. Whatever that happens to be, it's their fucking choice to do that.
But other than what you've said, I don't honestly know that much more than you, other than I've heard really positive things about the star. I've heard really positive things about some of the supporting cast. I've heard really positive things about the overall movie. And what you said is very true. It is ranking very, very high, if not at the top of a lot of people's favorites for this year. So I think with that, we're just going to go and watch it. So we are going to go and see Anora, and we will be right back. And we're back. That was Anora. Trent, How are you feeling after that one?
You thought we were done with Stripper Sunday. We are back with a vengeance.
It will never die. We will always find an excuse to bring back Stripper Sunday.
If we can, anyway. I can really see why this movie is getting a lot of buzz because, damn, I by the end of that, and again, you shouldn't be listening to this if you haven't watched the movie, but by the end of that, wow, did we go on a journey, and so did she. Wow. I looked over to you in the theater, and I don't know if you saw my face or not, but I had the quivering lips and just, yeah, I was emotional.
Yeah, the whole movie is like fun until all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, things are getting really serious and weird here.
Yeah.
And then by the end, you're like, this fucking sucks. And I feel really bad for her. And she's sad and I'm sad. And the two of us are like crying in the theater a little bit.
Yeah. It's reality setting in that you wanted this to be real so much. You wanted to be a part of something so much bigger than yourself. But really, at the end of the day, the guy that you ended up with, it was just a fucking child. He was a little boy.
So I said in the intro something about like modern day Pretty Woman. And there is a moment in here that is literally like Pretty Woman where he says, I want you to work exclusively with me.
Yeah.
Be my girlfriend for a week and I'll pay you. And they have the scene where they negotiate and she says, I would have done it for less. And he says, you should have taken more. That is straight out of Pretty Woman, a reference you now get because you've now since seen Pretty Woman, Trent.
Yeah, we covered it on Real Love on Patreon.
Yes, we did. And so you get like that little bit of the fairy tale at the beginning where he's just some rich kid throwing around daddy's money. And he's such a little goober. This kid is just ridiculous. But you can watch her face throughout this movie. She actually likes this guy. And I don't think it's exclusively about the fact that he's got a lot of money. It's just something about him she connects with.
Yeah, and it's the whole idea of you can't choose who you fall in love with. And I can't tell you whether or not I believe her love of this guy. I also can't really tell you whether or not anything that he says has any merit whatsoever. It's just, it is what it is, and you have to accept like the cards that you're dealt here. But, you know, like you said, like watching her face going from, you know, going through the routine. We see her at her job. She interacts with her coworkers. She clocks in at the beginning of the day and she goes home to her shared living space with other people. She rides the subway. She's a normal person. But when she's on, she's on. She's very good at what she does.
People clearly like her. Like the whole opening sequence is just lap dances. Like,
Sure.
you know, this movie begins as most potential Oscar-nominated movies do with a string of lap dancers.
Yeah, ass and titties all up in your
Ass
face.
and titties. So they start with that, and then they just show you guy after guy after guy that she is just like smiling and happy and outgoing, and she has a way with these men where they just kind of do what she says. They're like, yes, you are paying attention to me, so I'm going to pay attention to you because
it's the name of the game.
I like your personality. Oh, I want bottle service. Well, we could go to the VIP room. Now we're talking. Oh, you don't have enough money? Let's go to the ATM. Like, let's go. Let's go together. She is so good at this, and we see it right at the beginning. So you just assume when this other guy shows up, she's not even fucking interested. She's on her goddamn lunch break, you know? And she shows up because he wants somebody who speaks Russian.
Yeah, she has a specialty, and in New York City, you get all types rolling through there. And this is, I mean, we saw some not so classy joints in the other stripper movies we covered at the beginning of the year. This is a classy fucking joint.
Classy enough, anyhow.
I mean, I haven't been to a lot of strip clubs. I've been to one in my life, and it's our local one, and it sucks.
It's more than me, Trent.
It's terrible, but this place is fucking nice. You got to have money to come up in here. But at the same time, you know, we mentioned in the intro, the term these days for this kind of work can be interpreted a whole lot of ways, but you can take all of these things that these people are doing, whether it be up on stage, in the back room, or even, hey, give me my phone number and we can have a private thing off site. This is sex work. And the topic of sex work has been in the conversation a lot more in the past 5 to 10 years, ever since people got it in their head. And there are platforms now that allow people to just go off and do what they want with their bodies. They can sell their images, they can sell their videos, they can sell their time, much like real people do on a daily fucking basis, by being an escort or being a real ass prostitute where you are selling your time and you get to do whatever you want with me within reason.
You named the price, you named the terms.
Yeah. So all of this is encompassing sex work. I'm sure this happens a lot more than what you think. Some dancers will just give out their phone number or their special phone number for just these clients. And if they like them, if they trust them, and they got a lot of money, they're going to say, okay, yeah, we can have a private party offsite at your place or a hotel or whatever. I have no problem with that. I also don't have any problem with this chick doing it, because I will say, I haven't dealt with a lot of these kinds of people, but when I do, I have a hard time. But anybody who has to, on a daily basis, deal with drunk, entitled men, if you can deal with that, more power to you. You are the strongest fucking person on the planet, as far as I'm concerned.
She's also a goddamn New Yorker. Like, if
That's
anything,
right.
Trent, this is a movie about a woman who is a New Yorker. This is not a movie about New York. This is about the person. And my God, like, I would not want to cross this woman.
She embodies Brooklyn, baby.
And to bring it back to what you were just saying, this is a movie also about humanizing somebody who
Yes.
does that for a living.
Yes.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with this person. She is choosing when to work, how to work,
Yeah.
who she works with. And I love that moment where she says, I need to take a week off. And her boss is like, what the fuck? We already gave you New Year's. She's
Right.
like, yeah, you want to give me fucking health care and a 401k? Then you can tell me when I can and cannot take time off.
Exactly. This is a contract gig. This is not, you are not, like you said, you're not giving me health care or workman's comp or a 401k. Until you give me those things, I get to do what I want. I'm a contractor
An
here.
independent contractor.
Exactly. We have an agreement here, and this is not part of the agreement. But I love, again, going back to the other stripper movies we have covered, and I'm not trying to discount this movie. I really like this movie. I agree that it should be in the running for Best Picture, but I'm still going to call it a stripper movie because that's how we start. But in other kinds of movies we've watched, I love it when you get the slice of life where it's literally them punching a clock, going on break, talking shit with their coworkers, having lunch in the break room.
Having that one fucking Karen in your office who
Yeah.
just wants to fight with you
Fucking
for no
Diamond.
reason.
Fuck you, Diamond.
Fuck you, Diamond. Did you give that guy a dance? Yeah. And then she walks away. Like, what the fuck was that?
Exactly.
Drama. Just for drama's
Like it was
sake.
Diamond's exclusive person, but then Anora comes in and says, you know what? No, if he wants me, he wants me, and I'm going to take his money. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, be better. I don't know. But yeah, she's just going to work. It's just work. She
Yeah.
doesn't want to go and talk to this Russian guy. She's eating her fucking lunch. Like,
And
she's
she
got a
even says-
Tupperware in her hand. She's like, no.
She even says, I don't really want to speak it. I can understand you, but my Russian is not very good, and I don't want to advertise.
So it's all just sort of by chance that she finds herself in this situation. And she's a little bit older than this guy, and he's just, flinging money like it's nothing.
Because it is nothing.
Because it is nothing, they takes him to the VIP room and gives him a private dance, and he's shoving $100 bills in her G-string, and it's just a thing. It's just another night at work.
Yeah.
But because he asks about taking it further and ends up inviting her to this big goddamn house,
Yep.
and she, I don't even think, processes exactly what his situation is until she walks into that house and goes, who the fuck is this guy? And he's
Right.
sliding across the floor, fucking Risky Business style. Like, hi, I'm like 21 years old, except I'm acting like I'm about 14.
Yeah.
And for some reason, she goes for it. Like, I genuinely, this was the question I was saying earlier, alluding to. I do think she likes this guy. I don't know why. I have no idea what the attraction is, but if you look at her face and the way she looks at him throughout the movie, I think it's just really nice for her to have any kind of human connection.
Yeah, I don't think that this guy has any kind of ill intent. I just feel like she's his next plaything I feel like maybe he just tells himself that he should expect to have this. He has the money, so he should have women at his beck and call. And he really likes this one because she can speak Russian. And this is maybe the one and only person that he's come across that is putting up with his childishness.
But at the same time, when they go to Vegas and he decides to propose, he says, I'm being serious. And I bought it. Like, I believe when he
At
actually,
that moment, yes.
when he stops and he's like, shit, I'm actually nervous to ask you this. And, no, really, I need to switch to Russian.
When he says, I've asked you twice, that moment right there, he's serious. And I totally bought it. You're right. But does he actually understand the repercussions of all of this? I don't think so. Because I think he has it in his mind that if I marry an American, that means I can stay here. And by staying here, they have to keep paying me. They have to keep me in this house. They have to keep giving me all this money and having this life. Now I get to have my permanent plaything because she's married to me.
And also, fuck you to my parents because they're terrible.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing we have to unpack in a little bit later time. But here's my argument for this. So, yes, he's extremely immature. He does not seem 21. He definitely seems younger than that. He is doing things without thinking. He has had everything that money can buy his entire life. His parents are terrible. They've spoiled him rotten, and then they wonder why he's a handful and causing them problems. Like, it's their own fucking fault, frankly. But being with someone like Anora, I feel like would have done wonders for him. Like, her big problem with him at the end of the movie is he's a fucking pussy. He doesn't stand up for himself. He doesn't do anything like that. You think a year, 2 years with this woman would not help him with that problem?
I'm sure it would, but the consequences would still be there. Now, this is what I kind of expected to happen here. After they talk about it in bed when he says, okay, let's get married, and they have this little tete-a-tete about, whether I have the money or not, whether I have the mansion or whatever the fuck. The whole idea of, in sickness and in poorness and whatever else, I'm going to marry you no matter what. And I'm going to love you.
Do you want me for me?
Exactly. At that moment, I don't really think that he understands what that means because he's never known what it is to be not like this.
And I'm not going to go so far to say they're in love. Like, I think that she thinks she could be. I feel like it's definitely she likes him more than the other way around in a real way. But I don't think it's entirely fake. Like, I think that there is some tiny kernel of truth.
Yeah.
But he's just so immature.
So what I figured was going to happen is, okay, they get married, and then it's a kind of a time jump here when the parents find out they don't approve. They don't come and have the rest of the movie happen. I figured they were going to cut him off and say, no son of mine is going to be married to any American, period, no matter who they are. And then at that point, they are poverty stricken or something like that happens to them where the mansion is taken away, all the money is taken away, and then they're stuck married with nothing.
And they either figure it out or they fall apart.
Yeah. This is a much better story because, it is her going through this entire arc of her realizing, oh no, all of these people who are around here, they're his babysitters. They're not these fucking goons who are here to rough up people and break glass and pull guns on people. No, it's not like that at all.
They're a bunch of fucking idiots who have been hired to follow this kid around.
I don't even want to call them idiots.
Okay. They are not really very good at their jobs, because look what the fuck this like 100-pound girl did to the two of those guys. Like, she fucked them up.
Yes, but again, they weren't trying to do anything bad to her. They were just trying to follow orders, and I know that sounds really bad, but again, when they're trying to explain things to her, saying, please, please do not fight us, please do not, and we're not here to do any of that stuff that you think that we're here to do.
They do it so badly, because I think there's no reasoning with people like this, where she comes in kind of at an 11, she just goes straight to crazy, because that's how she lives her life, and that is how she protects herself. Like, she has such a goddamn wall. Like, this whole movie, that whole thing, that's a fucking facade.
Of course it is, because again, she has to deal with men like this all the time.
The way that she is in that house when these guys show up, and she just keeps asking anybody to fucking explain what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Will someone please look at me like I'm a human being and talk to me? And they're all just talking about her. And it's like she's not in the fucking room. And it's just like, who's talking? Is someone talking? I don't hear anyone speaking, because these fucking men don't listen to her.
And a lot of the rest of the movie here is the rest of these people completely dismissing her because, quote, she's the whore, she's the prostitute, she's the stripper, whatever title that you want to apply to her, that's what she is. She's not a wife. She's not a woman. She's not a human being who has feelings.
You are not a part of this family. You're never going to be a part of this family. Be gone. You are a problem we need to take care of.
Yeah, and like the head guy who comes down there says, clearly you took advantage of this stupid boy and you're just trying to claw your way into the money, into the life, into the family, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to pay you off because clearly that's what you want. And you're going to walk away with, $10,000 and you're just going to have a grand old time.
And that's what's so sick about all of these people.
They're just dismissive.
They are so dismissive of her. No one asks her what she thinks, what she feels, if she actually loves this guy. Like, she's literally trying to say it, but they don't believe it. Even though I do. I believe she actually cares about this guy.
At that moment, before she realizes.
Yeah.
And she starts to hear all these guys talk about this kid. Oh yeah, he's just a fuck up. He's a little boy. I've been babysitting him for so long. I've had to bail him out so many times. This is just the first of many that I have done and will do in the future. Girl, he's a fuck up. You don't want anything to do with him. And they're being honest here.
He literally just abandoned you, and now he will not pick up his telephone.
And she's telling herself, oh no, he went to go get the cops. People are coming to fuck you guys up. What the fuck are you talking about? My husband is a big old Russian mobster.
Yeah,
shut the fuck up, lady.
There's this brilliant shift that happens here where you and I, as the viewers, we are with her. Who the fuck are these guys? What the fuck are they doing? Get out of this fucking house. Leave her alone.
Right. Because that's what you should do.
But then as you watch them throughout the night and how Vanya is so unresponsive and so irresponsible, and then when you finally see what he is up to while her ass is being dragged around New York City all night with three men who, they didn't accost her, but that's how she feels.
Yes.
She was tied up. She's being held against her will, dragged around, forced to walk out in the cold, gagged. And she's just slowly realizing, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah, she's starting to ask the questions that she should have asked before she fucking married the guy.
Probably.
She doesn't actually know this guy. She likes hanging around him. That's okay. Maybe you should be boyfriend and girlfriend for real for a little while without the money situation happening. But I don't know what it was that got the stars in her eyes and just envisioned this life with this guy. I don't know anything about her past. I can infer a lot of stuff. She does say that she has a mother who presumably they could go and visit in Florida who has a different boyfriend or husband or whatever.
Yeah, dad's gone.
Dad's out of the picture at the very least.
Mom lives halfway across the country. Her grandma was from Russia because she never learned English.
Right.
So she's fairly new American blood because she's only probably second generation American.
Yeah.
and she's a New Yorker, and she is a stripper. The things you can infer is her life has not been great. It's maybe not been terrible.
Sure.
But it's not great.
And here's really what I was kind of getting at with this character. I feel like in her heart of hearts, she wants to have the quote unquote normal American family where you fall in love with a person, no matter who it is. You fall in love, you meet the parents, you get engaged, you have a wedding, and you live happily ever after. That's what she kind of wants. It's what a lot of people want. But life is messy. Families are messy. And in this case, you needed to spend a little bit more time with this guy and kind of tell yourself, man, this is not really progressing. The relationship isn't progressing. We're doing the same shit that we were doing when he was paying me to be his girlfriend. So what's the difference? He just stopped paying for it. You're giving it to him for free now.
You know, they use that phrase, the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon is over.
Yeah.
Their honeymoon ended quite abruptly.
Yeah.
It takes such a turn. And from where it started, like, I loved the beginning of this journey where these two are just being young and stupid. And, you know, I'm pushing 40. You are 40. It's really hard to look at this and go, you're making really good decisions, kids.
But you know what? In your 20s, that's okay.
But that's what I'm saying. When you're 21, when you're 23, sure, smoke your weed, vape all goddamn time.
Yeah.
Do stupid shit like go to Vegas. Getting married's a bit extreme, but even in that moment, Trent, I had the biggest grin on my face when
she was so happy.
When these two idiots got married in Vegas, I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
I know this is not going to end well, but yay!
At the point, yes, they are completely happy. And I had the same kind of smile on my face, but I knew this is not going to last like this.
And it takes all of 24 hours for her to completely change her mind about this guy, because all of these, you know, the bubble, their happy honeymoon bubble that was just the two of them.
Plus their friends who also know what the situation is. Like the friends at the party mentioned, oh yeah, that's the escort that Ivan has been screwing or whatever the fuck. So they all kind of know what the situation is because they also kind of understand that he's kind of a fuck up too. And why would he ever be with a woman like this unless he's paying her?
Oh, and most of those people are only friends with him because he has money.
Of course. That was the next thing I was going to get to.
They deal with his chaotic stupidity because it's just good for a laugh.
They can tag along on a fucking private jet to go to Vegas for a night because he can.
And get the suite at this hotel.
Sure.
And swim in the pool and get drunk and just do crazy shit because they're young, and why the hell not? But then they all just go back, like they show them. They all have fucking jobs.
Of course.
Every one of them. It's like, this guy's a fucking line cook. These people work at a candy store. They're all fucking nobodies that hang out with this kid. But the core thing they have in common, they're all kids who are from Russia or their parents are Russian.
They have ties at the very least.
That have come to America. One of the things that I found fascinating about this was how when they're on the hunt for Vanya, they go to so many little pockets of New York where they all speak Russian.
Totally.
So many businesses, so many restaurants and clubs and bars.
Yeah, and a couple of these guys are Armenian as well. So there's also people who speak Armenian.
It's just demonstrating the melting pot that is New York City.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it is the city that never sleeps.
Right.
And while we do have a lot more to talk about, we do need to take just a quick break for a word from our sponsor.
You know, recently I've been bored and feeling out of sorts. My normal podcasts just weren't cutting it anymore, so I talked to my doctor, and she recommended patreon.com/neverseenitpod, and now I feel better than ever.
Patreon.com/neverseenitpod is a once-weekly subscription podcast used to create joy. Side effects may include a sense of euphoria, aching muscles from smiling, and a dependence on the host's addictive personalities. Do not take this podcast if you are allergic to fun, have a history of laughing until you pee, or are afraid of a good time.
Talk to your doctor about patreon.com/neverseenitpod today.
said going into this that the person we knew starring in this movie was Mikey Madison.
Yep.
And apart from her, I did not know one person in this movie.
Nope.
This was a full cast of unknowns. And I think the movie is better for it because I believe all of these people are who they're supposed to be playing. But let's start talking about Mikey Madison. She's a goddamn firecracker.
She is the focus of the movie. She is the focus of all the characters. She is the focus of attention by everybody because she demands it.
And near the end of the movie, that guy says, I like Anora. I like that name better. And, you know, he says, let's find out what it means. Like, she doesn't care. She doesn't know. She doesn't care. And he looks it up and it means light or bright.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that name totally fits her, where it's just like, you are a lot. You're so much in all the best and worst ways.
You burn hot.
You burn so bright and so hot. And she's just this petite little thing.
Yep.
But like I said earlier, I would not want to cross this woman. When Ivan ends up in the strip club and Diamond sees him there and she's like, oh, I'm gonna get me some revenge. I was like, she's gonna fuck this bitch up. Like, that is going to happen. And she, you know, basically at first is calm enough, get her out of there, you know, fuck you, get out.
Yeah.
But this woman cannot resist. She cannot help herself. She has to egg Anora on. And then it turns into slapping and clawing, like straight up fighting.
Yeah, she also goes in there, you know, flanked by 3 big men. But really, she doesn't need them. She was going to take care of business no matter what.
No. She works in this place and she has handled herself this long.
Oh, yeah.
She does not need your help with that woman. Like, come on. But that just goes the whole movie where these guys show up she doesn't know. And she is speaking up for herself. And she is trying to get them to talk to her. And when they won't be reasonable, she decides she's not going to be reasonable.
She does not let up. The only thing that shuts her up is putting the gag in her mouth.
Oh my God, I love when she's like, you take my ring, I'm going to scream. And they do.
Yeah.
And then they don't understand why she's screaming. It's like, you didn't listen? You didn't hear what she said because you're not addressing her as a human.
Yes.
So she just starts wailing. What is that? Why are they doing that? What is she doing? That's fucking insane. And then when they do finally get her to calm down, you just look at the wreckage she hath wrought. You know, you've got one guy holding on to her and she's tied up. You've got another guy with a broken nose and a concussion. And that's a great running joke, by the way, for the rest of the movie. That poor man needs to be in a hospital.
Dude, he says, I think I have a concussion, and he has a bleeding nose, a broken nose, and in the car, he vomits because he had a concussion.
And they're like, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. Take him to the hospital.
He should also not be on a goddamn plane.
No.
I expected him to die.
It's
from
not,
this concussion.
It's not that kind of a movie.
I know, but I kind of had it in the back of my mind.
But she did that. She kicked him in the face because nobody is being reasonable, so why should she be reasonable?
Yeah. It's also a movie thing.
It is. It's all amped up.
Yeah, it is a movie thing because, in my opinion, people should really portray violence like this realistically, because if you get kicked in the face with feet, you're going to feel it. That's going to affect you.
And it does. He's quite messed up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and you know, the running joke, like you said, is he is complaining that this little girl kicked his ass, and he's just making comments with, I don't like the frozen pierogies on his face. I don't know what those were.
I don't know what that was. It was something he dug out of the freezer. So
it's what it looked like anyway.
Maybe. But they then just keep jumping to the obvious thing. Well, you are obviously a stripper. You are obviously a prostitute. And what you obviously really want is money. You know, they aren't asking, they're telling. You will get a divorce.
Yeah.
You will do this. You are coming with us. You are not leaving. We will give you money. And then we're never going to talk about this again.
Yeah, and in the course of them actually speaking to her and her finally calming down and listening, she agrees. Okay, but I need to talk to him first. I need to talk to my husband, because if I can get him to prove all of you fuckers wrong, and he is my husband and he wants to be with me and he's going to defend my honor, then fuck you. But if not, I'm going to entertain the idea that you guys are correct and that my husband is a child.
And it's not until she actually finds him and he's so wasty pants that she can't communicate with him.
Yeah.
And they drag them in front of a judge. And I knew this was not going to end well anyway. Any sensible judge is going to see that guy and go, this is not of sound mind.
All these people are doing this as a favor to these, I don't know what the hell they are.
Someone lining my pockets, basically.
Yeah, so they get it in with the judge and they get the lawyer down there to try to do this annulment, which I knew was not going to work because they did it in Vegas. What are you doing?
I didn't really think about that fact, but the fact that nobody asked.
Well, also, they got the photo of the marriage certificate. Wouldn't it show Nevada on there?
You would think so, but I think emotions were running somewhat high after being kicked in the face.
Yes, well, that happened afterwards.
Okay, true. Still, there was a lot of yelling, a lot of energy happening.
Just the idea that they got married and it is certified. This is a piece of paper that say that these two people are married.
It's legal.
Somewhere.
It's a legally binding document.
Yeah.
So they have to go all the way back to Vegas to get the divorce.
Yeah, and then we finally get introduced to the real parents, to the oligarchs, and oh my God, this fucking woman.
And of course, the assumption is, well, it's Dad. Dad's the one that we have to be worried about. Dad's also a fucking pussy.
Yeah, because we also see or hear the woman or the wife or mother, whatever, on the phone, like crying to this goon. And you think, okay, she's just going to be the hysterical mother and not really understanding what's going on. Oh no, those are tears of rage.
Yeah, she was rage crying.
Yeah.
And she drags her husband halfway around the globe to get this shit taken care of and then to bring their son back to Russia.
And I knew as soon as we started just bringing up the idea that mommy and daddy are coming to the US and he starts to run away, I knew that he was just whipped by his parents and he was going to do whatever they ask him to.
Because he's getting bullied by his parents. Like, that's what happens is the parents act like this, even though he basically is of their design. He's only like this because you act like this.
True, but he knows that if he doesn't do what his parents want, all of this goes away.
He cares more about his lifestyle,
his stuff,
than about Anora.
Of course.
Did
you not see them living together? He's playing fucking Xbox all day while she's hanging on to him because that's what he wants.
I don't know if you've ever been in a one-sided relationship, but
that's one.
That's what it would look like, kids.
My God.
So you should pay attention if you're looking more lovingly at one person and they don't look at you quite the same way, you should stop and think about why that is.
Yeah, just to give it a little bit of thought and reevaluate what your priorities are and what their priorities are.
Yeah, he had absolutely no qualms about ditching her the second he could escape. He tried. He was like, come with me, come with me. She's like, I don't have any pants on.
Right.
Let me get dressed at least. He's like, nope, fuck it. I'm gone. Peace.
Basically, that is him grabbing his favorite toy on the way out of the door. And in this case, his toy is a real woman.
But he has got no time for it. No time to grab the toy. I must escape.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of this guy's performance? Because as I said, I've never seen this guy in anything.
Oh, the guy playing the bratty piece of shit?
That one.
He was very convincing.
Yeah, at the beginning when he shows up and he's just, I'm in the club and you could talk to me. Like, he seems like he's a little bit more mature when they first are introduced. Okay,
barely.
A little bit. And then there's this dramatic shift when she goes to his house and he's in his boxer shorts, just like jumping around, sliding around, offering her anything she wants, running up the stairs because he's so excited to have sex.
Yeah, you get to have sex.
It's so different. Like
And
those
then
two scenes.
She says, okay, do you want to take your clothes up? Because she's being very alluring and everything else, the thing that you want to be. And he literally just strips everything down, hops onto his bed naked, and just somersaults over to the pillows.
It's so much. It's so much. And yet she's charmed by it. Like I'm telling you, like if you look at the way she looks at him,
it's the boyish charm of this little idiot.
Something
that
about
has
this
all
little
the money
idiot
in the world. Yeah.
And then as they progress through the movie, like when they're in Vegas and he proposes, like it gets really serious. Like she's like, don't fucking play like that.
Yeah.
Don't make fun. That's really mean. Do not tease me.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I'm the kind
clearly-
of person that this is the dream. And do
Yes.
not dangle the dream if you do not mean it.
Clearly, she respects marriage. That is a big word in her world. Again, I don't know anything about her past, but a lot of people, they treat marriage like it is the thing. At no time could you ever imagine yourself getting divorced from the person that you marry. That's you for life, thick and thin, no matter what.
And she didn't marry a credit card. Like, we didn't see a sequence in this movie where once they get married, she goes on a shopping spree. They get married and then they hang out on the couch.
Yeah.
And she cuddles on to him while he's playing video games. Like, she's holding on to him so tight, saying, did you tell your parents? I want to meet them. When do I get to meet your parents?
Right.
How did they take it?
She's grasping at this normal life that she wants to have the relationship progress, like I said before, but nothing is happening because he's putting it off. He's a child. He doesn't. I don't want to deal with adult things right now. I have my Xbox in front of me. I have my controller. I'm about to lose the game. You made me lose the game. Okay, let's have sex.
Yeah, you did tell them, right? Yeah, sure. Sure I did. No, the signs were already there. The signs were there, sweetie.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all of these goons come over and interrupt the progression that they could make because they know this guy, they know this kid. They're going to come over there and try to fix all of the problems that he's done.
And like I said, if they had been allowed a little more time,
Yeah.
it could have been different. I don't think it would have ended any better, but he may have been a little less hasty to just drop her ass.
There would have been such a struggle over the time of her and her eventually, yes, getting him out of whatever the immaturity is and eventually getting to the point where they can have a real conversation. But there was never going to be enough time because the parents were always looming.
Yeah.
Like these goons were at that party that he was throwing at the place. So they're there to supervise him.
Yeah, she tries really hard to hold on to this marriage and to convince him that there's another way. You don't have to do what your parents say. You don't have to be like this. And he crumbles and he just looks her in the face when she finally gets him to look at her. Like, that's always the most coward move. Like, you won't even make eye contact with her.
Sure.
And she says, you're serious? Look at me. And he finally does. He says, what did you think was going to happen?
Mhm.
Of course we're getting divorced. Like, duh. Like, come on. And
then it turns when they're in the plane and he starts calling her names and basically reverts back to when he was proposing the girlfriend experience.
And she hears it all because once again, everybody's talking about her like she isn't fucking there.
Right.
And she always makes sure people know she's fucking there. Like, you're a pussy. Fuck you. Like, fuck all of you. I am glad I am not going to be in this family.
Yeah.
Throwing coats in his face as she's signing divorce papers. Is that my scarf? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want your fucking scarf back? Here, take it, bitch. And you know, this movie could have ended somewhere here, but we do get a little bit of the epilogue. So they go to Vegas, she signs the papers, but they're going to pay her. And they say, okay, you can stay in the house tonight, but then you got to be gone tomorrow. And the fact that that guy, their boss, he says, thank you.
Right.
Thank you for doing this.
Again, these guys, these people are not bad people. They're doing the job. They're working.
doing their job.
They're working for the father, the family, whatever you want to call it.
to babysit this punk.
Exactly. And that's why I love them just kind of complaining about this kid in the car while they're driving around New York City trying to find his ass. It's like, you motherfucker, I have done so much for you. How dare you do this?
I have so many better things I could be doing with my time than chasing you through New York, waving your fucking picture in people's faces and getting berated.
Right.
But yeah, she goes back. She's now divorced, and she goes with Igor, and it's just this quiet presence. Like, you can see him.
Yes,
in the background.
Throughout the entirety of this, even when he goes in there for the first time and sits on the couch and he talks to her, says, "Hi, my name is this. What's your name?"
And of course, she doesn't want anything to do with him.
Of course not. What would you?
Because she just sees this man who was like manhandling her.
Right.
Like, get away from me. Don't talk to me. I don't want to sit in the car with you. I don't want to look at you. I don't want anything to do with you. But he's always watching her. And he's the one that says, I don't think it's out of line for your son to apologize to this woman.
The entire way, he's kind. He's understanding.
He tries anyway.
He tries to apologize for the misunderstanding at the house. Clearly, that whole thing was a huge misunderstanding, and she was thinking that people were in there to try to do a whole lot of really bad things to them. But again, it was a misunderstanding. So he's there. He's trying to be the good guy. He's trying to apologize. She won't hear it, but he doesn't take it personally.
And he's escorting her home. And when she falls asleep on the plane, he covers her with his coat.
Yeah.
When they get back to the house, they're just like smoking weed together on the couch, having a conversation.
But then she is recalling all of these horrible things that she perceives happened to her in this house and throwing it back in his face. And he doesn't like defend himself. He's not throwing things back in her face. He's just saying, well, that's your opinion, basically. Yeah. And he's just laying back. He's having a drag on a cigarette and a joint and whatever else. He's just chilling. He's not going to try to do anything.
Looking up your name, watching TV.
Yeah, we're just hanging out here. I'm doing my job, and I'm going to take care of you tomorrow.
And then the next day, he says, "Hey, before you get out of the car," opens his fist. He has got her wedding ring. Mm-hmm. It's just this symbol. Look, I've got your back. Somebody has to.
He could have kept that and sold it for however much money.
He didn't have to get it at all.
He didn't have to give it to her at all.
He didn't have to take it.
Didn't have to take it from the guy, yeah. But it's such a simple thing. And I've seen this reference, this scene, the entirety of the scene, not just what happens at the end. I've seen this thing where it's her as she's opening up the door and looking back as he says, "Hey," right as she's about to go out the door. And her face, she's about to re-enter the world that she thought she left.
Yeah, this car is all that remains.
Yeah.
Once she goes out
Once she
of
gets
this vehicle.
out of the car, it's over. This guy is the last thing that connects me to this entire thing. And once he drives away, it's over. And then he does this kindness. He gives her the ring. He gets out of the car, gets her bags out of the car, and brings them up the stairs, waiting for her to come up and go into the house and it'll be done. She doesn't want it to be done. And again, this is the first time she's actually allowing herself to feel any kind of other kind of emotion and have a connection with somebody other than her husband.
But she does it in the way that she understands. Like, she immediately responds with sex. That's her power. That's her move. That's the thing.
That's the transaction.
But it's transactional sex in that it is not personal.
Yeah.
It is just the act. And when they're looking so intensely at each other and he tries to kiss her and she just like curls up, like, no, backing away.
Yeah.
And then completely collapses. And she is just sobbing in his arms.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most devastating moment in this movie where it's just like, it's all fucking over. The illusion is shattered.
Yeah.
Any hope that she had is gone.
She is repaying the kindness of this man that clearly likes her or wants her or whatever.
He's trying to protect her and be on her side. Like, he says, I'm just trying to be on your side. Sure. Or something to that effect.
Fine. But like I said, she is repaying the kindness with the only thing that she knows how to do and do very well. Clearly, he's not pushing her off of him. And yeah, that ending where she just collapses in his arms, and I can't even think about it anymore because wow, I felt so much for her in this moment because this is the culmination of this entire odyssey that she's been on.
And then it's just silence. There's no music. It's just the sound of like the windshield wipers on the car.
Yeah, and then the credits is just complete silence. There's no music whatsoever.
And this guy I've been hearing is somebody they're kind of pushing in like the acting categories for like best supporting actor for a lot of
I
things.
suppose. Yeah, I mean,
He's not doing a lot, but he is a really important person by the end of the movie.
he's always there.
Yeah, and you notice him the whole time he's not saying anything. He's just reacting and watching
Yeah.
and observing. And he's doing what he's told, like when they're in the candy shop and they're like, smash it. And he just starts swinging the bat.
Yeah.
But then, like, he's carrying the scarf. And he says, here you go. You're very cold. You should put on this scarf. But it's the one he used to gag her.
Right.
So it's this weird comedic moment.
And I figured at that point, in this moment here, that, okay, there's something going on here. And I feel like they're going to pay it off later. And I was right.
With him?
Yeah, with him and her. Yeah, totally.
Because I think he's the only one in this movie who observes her humanity.
Yes, that's totally right. Because at no time is he really mean to her. Everybody else is calling her names, being mean, and it sucks. He's the only one that doesn't do that.
No, it seems like he is aggressively handling her, but it's like you are flailing like a maniac. If you leave, like, where are you going to go? First of all, you're in your underwear and it's winter. But if you go out that door, I am supposed to keep you here. I need to hold on to you because it's the only way to get you to stop. Like, It's a weird comparison, but this is literally the method that my parents had to use on me when I refused to go to sleep as a child. Like, I was a squirmy little maniac when I was like 2 and 3 years old. I would not go to sleep. I would not go to bed. And my dad would grab me around my center and hold me down until I'd pass out. Like, not like holding my breath or something, but literally just stop moving and
Put
go
you
to
in
sleep,
a sleeper
child.
hold and
No, not like that. But I would literally not stop. That's the kind of energy she has, where it's just like, you're not gonna stop.
It goes back to her just burning so fucking hot. And it takes them literally gagging her, tying her up, and just leaving the room. Honestly, they had to go out of the room while like somebody was there just watching her and to make sure that she doesn't get up and run into the glass window or something. But finally, after they come back in there, they start talking to her some more. She's being talked to like a person again. That's what she wanted, really. Like, stop calling me all these names. I have a name. I am a real person here. I am his wife, whether you like it or not.
Is it so fucking hard to just talk to me? Like, just speak at a normal, calm volume.
Yeah.
Stop calling on the phone, screaming. Stop. It started with Ivan screaming on the phone, and then everybody else started screaming, and then she started screaming, and it's just like, everyone just fucking calm down.
This huge, long scene of them in this house together is one of the weirdest scenes I think I've seen in a movie, where it's, again, we like to use the word cacophony, but that's exactly what this is. We got people on the phone screaming on speakerphone. We got the movie cutting back to the person in the car who was driving there, yelling into the phone on speaker. We have the other two goons in the place trying to manhandle her and also chase him out of the door.
While they're being injured and there's blood and there's glass smashing and throwing things. Yeah, this is the kind of movie where it's just like, what is happening? This is overwhelming.
Totally. And we also get the added bonus of half of this movie is not in English.
I love it.
With subtitles, of course, but still.
No, it was, and it was Russian and Armenian.
Right. They added the little Armenian thing for when they're talking shit about her in the car. She doesn't understand Armenian.
No, she probably gets bits of it. I feel like
I don't know what the similarities are between Armenian and Russian.
I feel like there's words that are going to jump out. Just like,
Maybe.
English still has words that make sense for other languages. It's like,
yeah.
I was listening and heard words that sounded familiar.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a lot of noise, a lot of yelling, a lot of chaos, but also just this emotional roller coaster that everybody goes on. And I think ultimately you and I both really liked this movie, so I understand why it's in the conversation as one of the best of the year.
The entirety of this movie is something I've never even seen before, even thought of before, where it's the cliche of rich guy hooks up with a stripper, hooker, prostitute, sex worker, whatever
Someone
the
who
words
is
are,
poor.
and someone who is on the lower end of the financial spectrum, as it were.
You're putting it so delicately.
Yes. But we've seen stuff like that before. The real uniqueness of this movie is the search for the guy and the arc that she has to go on, the emotional arc that she has to go on here as this person who is on the lower rung of things and being on the same level as these guys and somehow also being above them in some cases.
And just that turn, like how quickly the whole movie turns, and in a single night, we're all like, oh shit. Yeah, maybe you should be divorced.
Yeah, this
as
is
much
over.
as much as it sucks. And then she's just back to square one. She's just dumped up. She's used, she's abused, and then she has to move on with her life.
Again, we keep going back to the emotion runs so hot. Like there's no way in hell that you can just tell her that this kid is a piece of shit. You don't want anything to do with him. It's just like when you have friends or family who are with somebody that they shouldn't be with, and you could tell them until you're blue in the face, dude, you need to break up with this other person. They're doing nothing for you, but you can't tell them. They have to figure it out on their own.
And the way they present it in this movie is very, very well done. I've not actually seen any of this filmmaker's other things. I know I've heard of Red Rocket, and apparently there's a Red Rocket Easter egg in this movie.
Yeah, there is a reference to the Red Rocket movie when they go to Vegas. There's a sign there. I think it says Strawberry, which is a character from that movie.
I don't know what that means.
I have no idea. I think it has something to do with stripping.
Sure. I do remember that movie having something to do with like pornography.
Okay.
But not having seen it, this was my first experience with any of Sean Baker's movies.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, we can start wrapping up here, but there are some moments here that I would like to maybe go into some of his other stuff to see if he's got the same kind of vision or if it's just unique to this. But there's some shots here and some moments that I want to talk about still. Namely, when they go back to the club and they finally find this guy, when they're bringing him out of the private rooms from the VIP areas down the hallway, the camera is kind of walking backwards and you can see everybody flanking Ivan as he's being drug out wearing his sunglasses. That whole sequence of them coming out there looked fantastic. Because I think it is like these rooms are so filled with color and there's mirrors everywhere and there's just so much going on here because we're doing it backwards and you can see all of the different characters, all their heads just kind of undulating as they're walking. It was so impressive to me.
There's a lot of cool things in this movie with like light and kind of lens flare things. There's a moment where I don't know if it's right before or right after they get him at the club where they're driving and the way the lights look outside, they look like little twinkle diamonds like in the sky. So he's definitely playing around with some filmmaking things for the light.
I think as the mother is getting out of the car in Vegas, the sun is way up in the sky. And as she gets out of the car, her head obscures the sun from the camera.
Yeah, he's playing with light. A lot.
Totally. And I don't think this is really just a shot per se, but the view coming out of that mansion was fucking awesome. And the shot of her kind of looking out while it's snowing as well looked really cool. And you don't really see a whole lot of movies set during winter where people are cold and you can tell that they are cold.
And it's New York in winter, which is a different kind of cold.
It is.
It's a specific kind of cold.
There's one other thing here I wanted to mention. When we finally catch back up with Ivan and he's going back into the club, the song that is playing? Betsy, do you remember what that was?
No, I was a little bit distracted by Diamond about to get her ass handed to her.
No, it is when he's going back in there and the song from Tattoo. Remember Tattoo?
Oh, all the things she
All
said.
these things she said, that Russian faux lesbian couple band thing.
From 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The one song they had.
Yes, that was playing. And it's a perfect thing because, hey, they're Russian.
And that was their 5 minutes of fame, but we're still talking about it. So
That's
I guess
right.
20 minutes of fame.
I can't believe that I remember the name of their band, but yeah, that's it. But really, I mean, the last thought I had about this is we could talk forever about entitled little brats. And the character here, I think, fits so well because not only does he not value the actual cash he has or the stuff that he has or the friends that he has, he doesn't value anything. Not his relationships, not his status, not his privilege, nothing. He values nothing, and that's why he's a piece of shit.
Well, let's throw it to that then. So part of the reason we're watching this movie is we're kind of working under the assumption that this is going to be in the conversation come Oscar time. So we're still another month and some away from the actual nominations coming out. But I think most people are sort of assuming that this is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
I hope so.
So let's throw out some guesses. What else do you think this is going to get nominated for? I would think that she's got a fair shot at getting nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah. I have no idea what other actresses are going to be in the running for any of this stuff. That's kind of outside of my expertise right now. But yeah, I could see her definitely being a front runner, at least in the conversation. Him less so. I mean, supporting actors and actresses, those nominations, I don't really understand how they get thrown out there.
They're sometimes quite bizarre. Like, it might not feel like it's a relevant experience to include this person, but sometimes they're the linchpin that holds the movie together. And he does enough that maybe, I guess it depends what the rest of the field looks like.
I mean, I would say screenplay would also be in here because there's a whole lot of dialogue and it's told in a very natural way. It's written in a very natural way.
Yeah, I think it's got a very good shot for screenplay. This is the kind of movie that gets a lot of love in categories like that.
And really the only other one that I could really surmise here is maybe cinematography because the movie kind of looks cool.
Maybe director, some of the other technical things.
Maybe. Director is a stretch.
Again, I think it very much depends on the rest of the field and where this one is sitting by the time people are voting. Because I think we've seen people get nominated for a lot less. But
you're right. But, honestly, when we sat down here, because the reason why we're doing this, like you said, is because it's probably going to be in the running for Best Picture. But I love the idea of a bunch of old Oscar voters seeing this movie and just taking it all in.
Ass and titties.
Titties.
Stuffy old Oscar voters.
Stuffy white men.
And their ass and titties.
With their ass and titties on their big ass screen. I like this movie, Betsy. I'm glad that we went to see this one. I hope it gets nominated for Best Picture because, hey, we didn't waste a slot.
Like I said, tomorrow, as of when this episode is released, is when we're going to find out who's going to be getting nominated for Golden Globes. And that's a fair indicator come Oscar time. But we got to wait till January to know if this movie makes the cut. It's up to 10 nominees, so we'll see. I think it's got a very good shot, though. But we would love to hear from you, dear listeners. Have you seen this movie? Did you love this movie? Do you think it's got a good chance? Are you putting it in a guaranteed spot right now from where you're sitting?
Do you have any other recommendations for us that you've heard that absolutely these are going to get nominated for Best Picture? Or do you have your own list of movies you've already seen and we've just completely missed the boat?
We would love to hear all of your thoughts on this and many more topics. You can email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We're doing these a little out of sequence right now, so we don't currently have any emails this week. So You can also reach out to us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Blue Sky is a new one. We're actually getting a lot more people over at Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Recently I think there's been an influx of people heading towards Blue Sky. So
I wonder why.
If you're over in that neighborhood, you can follow us over there. Send us a message on any of those platforms because, you don't have to email us. I know it's like an old-timey thing to do, but we like direct messages too. We just want to talk to you. We want to hear your thoughts about movies.
We would like to talk to you as well, the people who listen to this podcast.
We know you're out there. Talk to us. If you've enjoyed this conversation, you can also support the show by going over to patreon.com/neverseenitpod, where we have several more shows.
A whole lot of shit.
And I'm not going to lie, we're thinking of adding more in the new year. So, stay tuned to that because for $5 a month, you can get all of the 12 months, nearly 12 months of full content that we've already got, plus going into the new year where, as I said, we're probably going to have some new things for you.
All sorts of great stuff over on Patreon.
But that is going to do it for Anora. We've got 2 more movies for the month of December before we get to our year-end awards special. We need to remember to start plugging that now, too.
Yeah.
So next week, we're going to keep up with the movies from 2024, and we'll be watching another movie that has a pretty good shot of getting nominated for Best Picture. So we will be watching Conclave.
Catholics. So come back for that.
So come back next week for Conclave. Until then, we thank you as always for listening. My name is Betsy.
My name is Trent.
And we'll see you next week.